because I haven't done that yet.
So here, make sure you have the right, put it in speaker view and there we go.
Okay. My mic is on. See the, ooh, the mic's. Hold on, which mic am I trying to use? Realtek, right?
No, the USB, the line in.
Muted.
Oh,
Unmuted
no,
now?
we're-
Are we unmuted?
You are unmuted now, so everyone.
It's really quite a switch, Rabbi, for me to be here and you to be in Zoom. So I guess I'll. Good.
my hands.
Thank you. Heard me.
What?
Shabbat shalom. All right, so Shabbat shalom. This is close-knit group. So I am Susie Mask. I'm the events chair. I am not Rabbi Milder. Rabbi Milder had a COVID exposure and is in quarantine. And he's waving to us right there, looking quizzically in his music room. So opening song will be Hine Matov. Bonus points if somebody knows the page number. 10. Ah, good.
10, topic 10.
Hine Matov Manayim, Shabbat Yachad. 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 Hine Matov Manayim, Shabbat Shabbat shalom, everybody. I would like to ask Robin Wood to light the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Okay, simchas, I think we all know how simchas work, something good in the past week that we can talk about in 1 to 2 sentences. So as my hand passes yours, if you have a simcha to share, I think I'm supposed to be speaking loudly because of the sound. We'll get back to you folks. My simcha is we're celebrating Shabbat together, despite various little challenges. We're here celebrating together. So anyone on Zoom have a simcha to share? All right, I don't see any. Okay, so I'd like to read an Alden Salagi poem. For the arrival of Shabbat. Well of life, bless my heart with the gifts of Shabbat. The presence of your love in my pulse, your glory in my chest, and your wonder in my breath. Bless my eyes with the gifts of Shabbat. The beauty of the candlesticks, the Kiddush cups and chalot. Bless my lips with the gifts of Shabbat, rejoicing in song and prayer. Our melodies ancient and new. Bless my ears with the gifts of Shabbat. Hymns and praises, the nigunim of old, and blessed words of Torah. Bless my soul with the gifts of Shabbat, awe and thanksgiving, calm and surrender, beauty, righteousness, and peace. Let these gifts descend gently on all your people Israel, so that together, wherever we may be, in one voice, from the four corners of earth, we sing. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, Malachei Elyon, come in peace, messengers of peace, angels of the Most High. I'm pretty sure I don't see any 6th or 7th graders here. No one to admit to at least. Please turn for Chatzi Kaddish, page 26. Yikada Shemei Rabba, Yamal Devrach Lefete Batom Yilefete, B'chaye Chorim Yomecha, U'chaytecho Be'Yisrael, Ha'agala, Ha'agala, U'bizman Karim, V'hinei Ru'arim, Yesh Me'ram B'Menorah, L'olam Olam Be'almaya, Yitbarach, V'yitbarach, V'yitpar, V'yitramon, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Kedusha B'rehu, L'el min kol b'chata v'shirata, Tushravata Levemata, Gam Miram Yama, V'hinei Ru'arim. Amen. Please turn page to 28 for the Baruch. La 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 la, ya la 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 la. Please be seated. Please turn to page 31 and read with me at the top. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night,
And
heaven stands to infinity. You set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'amariv ha'arabim.
please turn to page 32 at the bottom. Please read with me.
Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah more. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please turn to page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ata Adonai Elohecha, b'kol lavka u'b'kol nafshecha, u'b'kol me'odecha, ve'hayu advarim ha'eleh, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom v'levavecha, v'shinatam v'levavecha, v'dibartam bam, v'shivtecha v'techa, u'leftecha v'techa, u'shoptecha v'ukumecha, v'shartam le'od ayatecha, v'hayu l'totafot ke'enecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot be'techa, u'isharecha, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please turn to page 39. And read with me at the top. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we are taught before and understood as science could, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Another poem by Alden Saladi. like you? Who is like you, God of mystery and majesty, distant and present, thundering and quiet, the beginning and the end, the atom and the cosmos, the darkness and the light, the one and the all, pillar and foundation, artist of sea and sky, author of the miraculous and the mundane, source of life, blessing and sustaining creation. Who is like you, glorious in holiness, to whom we praise, to whom we give thanks, the God who redeemed us from Egypt, the God who parted the sea, the God to whom Miriam and Moses led us in song. Please turn to page 43 and read with me at the top. Let there be love and understanding among us.
Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu el kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim.
Please turn to page 44 for Bishamah. Vishamru. Oops, I think
We can do it without it.
turns out a different string works better. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashavat la'asot et Hashavat medor tameritolah Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashavat la'asot et Hashavat medor tameritolah Beini ubein b'nei Yisrael Odi l'olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashavat la'asot et Hashavat medor tameritolah Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashavat la'asot et hashavat medor tameritolah Ki yakom yashvi Shabbat v'yinachash Shabbat v'yinachash Shabbat v'yinachash V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashavat la'asot et Hashavat medor tameritolah. Please turn to page 46. And please rise. Adonai, open up my lips, that my
Mashiach Umayim, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezra Sarah, Atah Gibor Elam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Tarah Moshiach, Mashiach Ruach, Umorit HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somet Noflim Berachei Olim, Umatir Hasubim, Umechaye Emunato, Lishem Le'afar, Michal Bal Yurot, Umidon Le'ah, Melech Benit, Umechaye, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emar Hayot L'Chol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Atah Kadosh, HaKadosh, U'Kedoshim L'Kol Yom Yehalu V'Aseh, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. Please turn to page 55 and read with me at the top. May these hours
Of rest and renewal, open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Please turn to page 57 and read with me in a minute. Ever-present one,
May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve and reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, Shelcha v'Vadcha v'Yirah Na'avod.
Please turn to page 59 and read with me at the top. God in goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life,
Wonder beyond words for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Ato Shikha L'Olam Ha'ed.
And turn to page 60 for Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom And now it's time for silent prayer, which can be found on pages 62 and 63, or the words in your heart. We are music. Quiet now. Listen. Breathe. And listen. You are music. Your breath and hands. Your smile and tears. Your eyes and pulse are notes that dance in the space between us. We are music. A symphony conducted by the rhythm of life, by God's hand, by our choices, day by day. Our notes play on, separately, together. The sacred sound of living. Our music waltzes, making melodies fresh and new. Never heard again. Bass lines that pulse from our hearts to the soul of the universe. Joy bends sorrow. Sorrow bends hope. Hope bends grief. Grief bends love. Love bends joy. At this time, we ask for healing from members of our congregation and their loved ones who are ill. If you are praying for healing of body or healing of spirit for a loved one, I invite you to recite that person's name out loud as my eyes pass yours.
Kathleen Sheridan, Zeke Berman.
Sue Rosenblatt.
And can we get some help with the chat? Because I missed some of those names. And I know there must be names in the chat.
I don't think who's on in the chat.
Deb Heller says Karen Walters.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Karen Walters, Deb Heller.
Okay, Kaylin Walters?
Karen.
Karen Walters, okay. Okay. To those names, to those whose names we've said out loud, we add those whom we hold in our hearts and say, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei haOlam. We praise you, God, the source of healing, and let us say, Amen. Please turn to page 253 from Mishabera.
May the
renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Okay, I will drink water and then we'll know it's time for Rabbi Milder's sermon. So here I go. I'm bending over like Rabbi Milder.
That's great, Susie.
And
Oh my gosh, that is great. Oh, thank you. All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent.
Can you see us?
Nope. No, I don't see you at all.
We can
I
hear
see. This is one of those unusual cases where instead of my being able to see people in the sanctuary, I see the people who are online.
oh,
I can see the people online. I don't see anybody in the sanctuary. And thank you, Susie. Thank you so much for leading worship tonight, for being our Shlichat Tzibur, the emissary of the community. I love being able to hear you play ukulele. That is fabulous. So grateful. And thank you to all the hardworking tech mensches behind the scenes trying to resolve unforeseen problems. But honestly, there was something great that happened tonight that never happens, which is that everybody online got to hear the people in the sanctuary. I know that normally, if you're online, you hear the person behind the lectern, but you don't hear the people in the sanctuary very well. So it's just fabulous that we got to hear everybody who's there. I wish I could be there. It's fun being able to see it from this end, but honestly, I wish I was there in person there. I'd rather be there with you in person. Well, I do want to share my remarks for the evening. So I want to tell you about this week's Torah portion. And this week we're in Parshat Vayishlach, which is a very famous story that you are probably familiar with, where Jacob wrestles with the angel. And I want to break this story down into its three themes. Okay, so kind of like sit back, here we go. There are three levels to understanding the story of Jacob wrestling with the angel. The three levels are Jacob the hero, Jacob the progenitor, and Jacob the wounded. So I'm going to go through those one at a time. First, Jacob the hero. There is a dimension of this story, which is that Jacob is a heroic character. He defeats the river demon. Okay, let me be clear about this. Ancients believed that rivers harbored demons and that crossing a boundary was an act fraught with danger. So the most ancient version of this story, if we understand the story as having gone through several iterations, several levels of development, probably the original form of the story told about this hero, Jacob, who defeated the demon of the Jabbok River. Now, he couldn't actually beat the demon, but he wouldn't let the demon go, so that sooner or later, the demon risked exposure to daylight. It sounds a little vampire-ish, if you ask me. And in the end, what he gets is he wrestles from the demon a blessing. Now, the reason I call this a hero story is it follows a couple of other stories about Jacob that portray him in heroic terms. One of those is when, before this incident, he gets to the well and he rolls away the stone from the well so that Rachel can water her flock. So here's this big, strong guy, and he gets to roll away the stone. And then there's the other story about he set up the altar at Bethel. Bethel is the place before the incident with the wrestling with the river demon or angel or whatever it is. 20 years earlier, Jacob came upon a place where he dreamt of a ladder stretching from earth to heaven on which angels ascended and descended. Now, the name of that place is Bethel. And the existence of a shrine at Bethel actually predates the Israelite period. Long before we had these stories, there was a shrine at Bethel. And in later years, our ancestors prayed at that shrine, and they said, oh, it was Jacob who erected the great stone altar of the shrine on the site where he had seen the ladder stretching up to heaven and the angels coming down and back up. So Jacob's exceptional strength indicates that we are dealing with legends of a folk hero, one very much linked to the history of that particular place. So there's the first level of the story. Jacob as folk hero, mighty Jacob. The key point of the story, the way we have it, however, appears not to be this earlier version, but a later version in which Jacob's name gets changed. It gets changed from Jacob to Yisrael, Israel. Now, the Torah itself offers a folk etymology for the name Yisrael. It says it derives from Yisar El, that is, one who strives with God. So, if there was an older tale that Jacob wrestled with the river demon, the author of the section concerning Jacob's change of name has a much different view. Jacob wrestled with God. This is an entirely different level of the story. It's not concerned with the physical strength of Jacob, but with the spiritual progenitor of the Jewish people, Israel. You know, Jewish tradition identifies us. We, the Jewish people, are called B'nai Yisrael, the descendants of Israel. It's only when we recite the names of the patriarchs do we use the more ancient designation of Jacob. The term B'nai Yisrael appears in our story this week as immediately after the story of wrestling with this angel, God, river demon, and a kind of narrator's aside about how that's why we don't eat the thigh muscle of an animal. Now, this aside shows the editor's hand working an older story and reweaving it for later readers, because the narrator says, and that's why we B'nai Yisrael, we Israelites, the descendants of Israel, note, not the descendants of Jacob. That's why we Israelites do not eat the thigh muscle of animals. So some scholars believe that the character of Israel was merged with a more ancient character named Jacob. Israel was the father of the Jewish people. Jacob was a folk hero. Even if there were not two separate sources, we're dealing with a story that can be read on at least two levels: the heroic Jacob and our ancestor Israel, who received his name from none other than God. And that brings us to the level of the story which has the fullest character development, which deals with Jacob the wounded. Because according to the story, Jacob will not let go of the demon, the angel, whatever it is. And so the ladder wrenches Jacob's hip. Jacob is on his way to meet his brother Esau. Jacob had beaten Esau not once but twice in his life through cunning and deceit. Jacob had run away from home to escape Esau's wrath. And now he seeks to return home to the land of his birth and be reconciled to his brother. The wounded Jacob reflects the exact opposite of the heroic character. Jacob's pride has been humbled, represented by the limp with which he is now burdened. He is no longer the young Jacob who sees angels climbing out of heaven. He is an older, more mature Jacob. He knows that there is no cunning, no strength which can save him from Esau. He must confront his brother openly and unprotected. This is a Jacob who learns to live with pain, right? This is a Jacob we can relate to. He achieves blessing not through victory, but through defeat. This is the Jacob who has grown older and wiser, more vulnerable, and yet more courageous. He is the more courageous Jacob because he's not as strong. The name Jacob, Yaakov, may mean one who limps. And the change in name may have originally been not Yisrael, but rather Yishar'el. That is the one whom God makes straight. Though wounded, God has given him back his name, his self-worth. Some of us wrestle with demons. Some of us have found our destiny altered the way one changes one's name. Some of us wrestle with God. Judaism tells us that struggle, change, and growth are part of the path of being human. In the end, our aim is not to get out without any bruises, but to hold on with all our strength until we have made of our lives a blessing. So that's my version of this week's Torah portion. And I'm going to turn it back to you, Susie, to whom I am tremendously grateful for leading the service this evening. You know what? There's this huge benefit. I can't believe I get to hear the congregation by watching online. And all the same, at the very same time, I get to chat with people online. Shh.
Thank you, Rabbi Mulder.
She's drinking for you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I believe we have announcements.
Okay.
Thank you, Carrie.
Announcements. All right. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Carrie Klinetsky, Religious Practices Chair, with some announcements. Please join us next week on the 17th for Havdalah and Game Night. We will be celebrating Havdalah and then breaking out board and card games. It's right before Hanukkah starts, so there will be Sufgan Yok and dreidels if you want, but lots of other games. Suitable for all ages. Bring your favorite games, plus a snack to share, and we'll party on. We'll provide hot drinks. The event is free and open to all. On the following week, we will be celebrating Shabbat Hanukkah on Friday, December 23rd. Please join us here for a beautiful service filled with light, song, and the story of Maccabees. This is one of the highlights of the year for our congregation. If you're joining in person, plan to arrive a little early to set up your Hanukkah and candles. And that is that. So, thank you. Back to you, Sam.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. All right. Okay, please rise and please turn to page 282 for the Iliad. At the bottom. Please be seated. Judaism teaches us the sacred duty of memory. On this Shabbat, we remember those members of our congregation and their loved ones who have died within the past 30 days. If you are observing Shloshim, I invite you to rise as I recite the name of your loved one, Carol Weber, mother of Laura Weber. On this Shabbat, we remember those whose yahrzeit occurred during the past week. I invite those who are observing yahrzeit for the following to rise as I recite their names. Irvin Barron, Julius Dorfman, Bernice Pollock, mother of Robin Wood, Jack Rothman, Steve Sontag, Victor Charles Walling, Jr. And I invite all of those who are observing the first year mourning to rise at this time. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing. We rise as one congregation, united by memory and compassion, to praise God's name. Yitkadal Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alman Yivrach Yirtei Hayulik Malkutei, V'chayim On V'yom On, V'chayim V'ol Beit Yisrael, V'amalav Yizman Kari V'yimru Amin, Yehesh Shemei Rabbah V'orach V'elam Omei Almayim, Yitzarach V'yishabach V'yita'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, Yitzadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei, Yishach, Yichud, Le'ela, Yinkol, Yirchata, V'shirata, Tushkata, V'nechamata, Ta'ariram, V'amam, V'imru, Amin, Yehesh, Shalom, Rafam, Yishmaya, V'chayim, Aleim, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'imru, Amin.
Usay shalom b'romav, uyaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yiru. Amen.
Please be seated. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, please turn to page 321 for Adonai. Adonai Hashem Malach, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, Ve'en Nasa V'chem Sokol, Azay Melech Shelo Nivra, Azay Melech Shelo Nivra, Ve'acharei Kedlot HaKol, Ve'ba'adol Yimlok Nora, Ve'hu Hayah, Kiddush can be found on page 5. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. B'shabbat kodsho v'ahavam u'reson hililanu, zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit. Kibu Yom Tefillah, Lemikra Kodesh, Zecher Tziat Mitzrayim. Kibanu V'Ata, V'Yotanu Kidashta, Nikol Ha'amim, V'Shabbat HaKodeshah, V'Ahavam U'Ratzon, V'Katanu. Baruch Adonai, Mekadesh Hashem. Okay. Baruch Adonai.